So I want to take y'all back, man. If y'all been following this P. Diddy situation, I want to take y'all back a little bit further for the people that wasn't around at that time to really get an understanding how he became what he became. So we're gonna go all the way back to the Quad Studio situation, what kind of ignited this whole fake East Coast West Coast beef that was going on in the industry. So if you was around at that time of 94, 95, 96, the early 90s, like the golden era of hip hop, then you know that P. Diddy was a big factor in the music industry as far as up and coming entrepreneurs and record execs. As we all know, he came from Uptown Records. He was I think he was like an intern, started as an intern and worked his way up to where he was recruiting talent. He was like a talent manager, so to speak. I'm looking for the right words. It just ain't hitting my brain right now. But Diddy started off as an intern, man, and just worked his way up. Um, got lucky, got a hit record with Craig Mack that took off. Um, People don't know that Craig Mack album actually really launched Bad Boy. Craig Mack's song "Flavor in Your Ear" was a major hit in the music industry. In the hip hop world back at that time. Flavor in Your Ear was the shit. You know what I mean? You had the remix with Big and Busta Rhymes. I think LL was on that joint. It was a hot joint. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of packaged Craig Mack and Big as Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? He kind of packaged that whole thing as like Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? Like a package album, kind of promoting Big at the time. Um, Big dropped Ready to Die, which took off. It put Big in a whole different space because at that time the West Coast had took over the game as far as a new sound. They had Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, MC8, Spice One, Too Short. They had a lot going on. E40. The list goes on and on and on. But the West Coast had the wave at the time. Big kind of bought the wave back to New York when he dropped that Ready to Die album. Big was like the second coming in hip hop. So fast forward a little bit, Pop was running with West Coast artists as well as East Coast artists. At the time, Pop was shooting Juice. I'm sorry, not Juice. At the time, Pop was shooting Above the Rim in New York. He was hanging out with some street guys in New York. These guys was connected in the streets, well connected. You know what I mean? It's alleged that Big told these guys, well, told Pop not to hang around these certain individuals, which turned out to be Haitian Jack, Jimmy Henchman, real live street dudes. And I guess Big, from being from Brooklyn, he already knew that these guys was dangerous and not to be played with. You know what I'm saying? But Pac is one of them dudes, he gonna speak his mind. He don't care who you is. You know what I'm saying? Like Pac one of them dudes, if you don't respect me, I don't respect you. And it is what it is. I'm not sure how the connection was between Puff, Jimmy Henchman, and I'm not sure of the connection, but they was cool with each other. I guess through the music industry, where you could say the connection was through music, because at the time, I think Jimmy was trying to manage Pac. Pac wasn't going for it. You know what I mean? So they say Pac was basically being disrespectful towards Jimmy, which caused the robbery. Pac reaching for his gun actually what got him shot. Some people say allegedly he shot himself. Um, but yeah, man. So when you take this whole situation into consideration, when Big warned Pac about these dudes, Pac went back and told them exactly what happened, what Big said about them. You know what I mean? And Big ended up getting robbed. A lot of people don't know that. Big ended up getting robbed for for telling Pac, you know, he don't need to be hanging around these dudes. At the time, Big was trying to protect Pac. I think I think at the time, at this time, Big is starting to learn the industry. Okay, Big started his own label with Lance Unrivera, Undies Records, Undies Entertainment, whatever you want to call it. They launched Junior Mafia. Puff owned Big Publishing. Big didn't own his own publishing. Puff owned Big Publishing. So Big was actually writing Junior Mafia's album as well as Lil Kim's album, but he was telling Puff that they was writing their own shit. You know what I'm saying? So Puff wouldn't own the publishing to these records. At the time of the shooting at the Quad Studio, Big was in a session with Junior Mafia, working on the Junior Mafia album. I don't even think Big knew that Puff was in the studio that night, because like I say, Jimmy Henchman, Andre Harrell, Puff Daddy, they was upstairs in a whole nother section of the studio. It's alleged that Puff went and got Jimmy to run down on Big about the publishing, because Puff felt like he was getting robbed by Big writing the Junior Mafia album, and I think they was going to run down on Big, but the Pac situation intervened with that. So I think Big was kind of in the blind at the time of the situation, because he probably like, damn, man, what the fuck going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. So Pac looking at this shit like, when he come upstairs, he shot the fuck up. When he come up on the elevator, he rolled his blunt and shit. He like, what the fuck going on? So they say Pac got into it with Jimmy. They was yelling and screaming at each other on the elevator. Pac like, nigga, what the fuck going on? What the fuck going on, nigga? You know what I mean? So it's like, damn. You gotta look at it from Pac perspective. He looking like, man, fuck all these niggas, man, because he shot. He don't know what the fuck going on. For all he know, all these niggas is down with this shit. So Big is involved in this shit too, which he probably didn't. I don't think Big knew exactly what was going on. I think Big was kind of in the blind. Puff knew what the fuck was going on. Pac explained. That's why Pac was so heavy on Puff. That's why he went so hard on Puff. It's a song out there with Big. It's on a mixtape. It's Big and Puff on the song dissing Pac. And if you listen to the end of the song, Puffy start talking, and he's saying some wild shit like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was involved in the situation. You know what I mean? Like these rappers turn actors. I can't think of the specific song, but it's an old song, man. And Puff is at the end of that motherfucker going crazy. Like Puff was on Demon Time back then, and this was after Pac had died. You know what I mean? And he was like, these rappers turn actors, you know what I'm saying? He didn't say no names, but you knew exactly who he was talking to. And I remember listening to that mixtape as a kid, like, damn, Puffy a cold-blooded motherfucker, man. That's a cold-blooded demonstration. So, like I was saying, Big got the situation with Lance Rivera with the Undies, and they got a whole separate deal from Bad Boy and Clive Davis. You see what I'm saying? So Big, he was smart. He at 22, 23 years old at this time, for him to understand, listen, I'm gonna write y'all album, but I'm gonna tell this nigga, y'all writing this shit, to know to get his publishing. That was genius. You know what I'm saying? To start his own label, like Big was already ahead of the curve, which means it's a possibility that Big was gonna leave Bad Boy. I don't think he really was gonna fuck with Puff like that. You know what I mean? And what I think happened with Big, I think, hold on, let me backtrack to Pac. I think Puffy knew exactly what was going to happen to Pac. He was friends with Jimmy. Jimmy was his muscle. I think he knew exactly what was going on. Pac knew he knew, but I think Pac used Big because he's just a war of casualty. It's like, nigga, if you down with, if you with them niggas, fuck you too, nigga. Even if you ain't had nothing to do with it. It's like picking a side. You know what I'm saying? That's how Pac looking at it. Now, Big is in the hot seat with Puff because he could possibly lead a label. That's what I think he was gonna do. I really do think he was gonna lead a label. I think that could have been detrimental to Bad Boy. When you think about it, Big leave, Kim leave, Junior Mafia, Craig Mack, whoever signed a Bad Boy, like once Big leave, it's over with. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think somebody got in Puff's ear and say, listen, the best way to handle this situation is get rid of the situation. If you think about the records that Tupac sold after his death was crazy. So it's a possibility that Puff probably looked at this situation and said, you know what? He better off dead than alive. Now, if you was around at that time, Puff was not rapping until Big died. Biggie's death turned Diddy into a mega star, or to a superstar. He took off from there. He started Sean John, all this other shit. It's a lot of motive in this for Diddy. He had a lot to lose. It's a war going on between East and West Coast, a fake war that was orchestrated by certain individuals in the industry, magazines and everything. They was involved too. So it's pretty much like a diversion. So if Big get killed out in LA, we're gonna take him out to LA. And this is genius if you think about it. We're gonna take him out to LA. We're gonna get him knocked off. We could put it on Suge. Y'all see how that works? We could put it on Suge. So this what I think happened. I think Puff put the bag on Big head, knowing that this is gonna take Bad Boy to the next level. I'm sorry, y'all. This is gonna take Bad Boy to the next level. This is what I think happened. I think Puff put the bag on his head and created a diversion to make people think Suge was involved with this shit. Mind you, at this time, Suge was in jail on parole violation.